Hello, everyone. I'm Jesus, and welcome to the next episode of the Road to Old School MTG. So I have a guest with me. This is Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
Hey everyone.
All right. So Jordan is here because so the videos that I've been making recently. This is the fourth video in a series of for a tournament that Jordan and I participated in recently at Dave's Time Warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. It's an Atlantic old school tournament. It was 4 rounds. It was gentleman's rules, so that means no mind twist, no Library of Alexandria, and it's proxy friendly. So it just opens it up so that more people can participate, because old school is just by its very definition the one of the most restrictive ways of playing Magic, right? But that proxy friendly rule really makes it more accessible, for a wider audience. So we personally like that. So you might see some proxies here and there across the 4 videos that I'm making, but this video is of game number 4, and it just so happens Jordan is the opponent that I am playing in this 4th round. Jordan, remind me, you were 3-0 by this point, correct?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, and so was I, right? So we both knew we were basically playing for first and second place, and this was for the November tournament, and there was $10 entrance fee, and then there was also the prizes, right? So first place was unlimited demonic tutor, I believe. Second place was a maze of F. So we won't mention who won yet until we get to the video, right? It's on end of the video. But no matter what, like, we ended up making a profit, right? From our $10 investment, because you and I we were first and second, right? So but we won't say who's who yet until we get to the end. All right, so first I just want to start off with just taking a look at your deck photo here. If you could just explain what deck you were playing, and just talk a little bit about what's the game plan, like how do you play it, and so on.
So this is the typical burn list, but with a little bit of a twist. So creature-wise, you have Dibs, you have Ironclaw Orcs, and if you look all the way to the left, you see that I have 2 Darylors. So that's like my little twist here. Now, the reason Darylor works so well in this deck is because what I found that I was missing is a 4 drop, a good 4 drop, a 4/4 for 4, right? And there's no options in red and blue, and there's a few options in in the rest of the old school card pool. Um, for example, I could have gone with Suchis, but Suchis are 4/4s for 4s, but they're also artifacts, and they also generate 4 mana when they die. So in a format where you have mana burn, that's dangerous, right? So Derelor only has one very small downside, which is that it makes all of your black spells cost 1 more black to cast. So in a deck where I only have a very small black splash, um, it's not that much of a downside. Yes, there were a few times that casting my demonic tutor is a little bit more difficult, but that situation didn't come up that much. So that's the creature base. As far as spells, we have 12 different burn spells. We have we have 4 lightning bolts, 4 chain lightnings, and 4 psionic blasts. We have 3 counter spells. We have a fireball, and we have a for card draw, we have Brain Geyser, we have Ancestral, and the rest of the Power 9 as well. 1 mana drain. I also have one Modi as part of my creature base.
Yeah, I see it in the corner. Yeah.
Yep. Just one thing to note. If you look at that Mind Twist, this was a gentleman's rule tournament, so I didn't play that Mind Twist. It's actually a balance. So that's the only correction here. As far as the mana base, I have 4 volcanic islands, I have 3 Badlands and 1
Underground Sea.
Underground Sea. Yeah. And I found that that was like the best kind of balance, right? So that I'm able to, cast everything in my colors consistently. Um, and if you look at the deck photo, I kind of arranged it in like a red versus blue kind of theme, where you have Squirtle versus Charizard. You have all the red spells on top, and all the equivalent blue spells on the bottom. And
Okay, I see. Yeah. You were mentioning that you wanted to retake this photo. I'm like, no, I cannot allow that.
yeah,
Be-
yeah,
because
this took a
the
lot.
mind twist, yeah, like no, I know, I can tell this took a lot because you're gonna see my deck photos and it's atrocious, like I told you, because it's so hard. But yeah, okay, so yeah, so those Derlors, I will say I am shocked that you only have 2, because you constantly play them,
Yeah.
right? Because this was not the first time I played against you, right? So this was, yeah, we've had these monthly tournaments, for a while, right? And then we've met each other a few months ago through Dave's Time Warp. So but you've been constantly updating this deck, right? Making it better and better. That's me personally. That's what I really like to do as well. I like to stick to something and maximize it to its full potential, and I still find a lot of enjoyment from doing that, right? So seems like you're similar, at least when it comes to this deck. So I've seen the changes, but like I'm surprised. I would have when I saw your deck pick, I thought you were gonna have 4 Derrilors. So I think that's how strong your draw is. That you consistently get them. They're always in the back of my mind that you will be playing a Derrilor. It's just a matter of when. So that's just something that surprised me that you only have 2. And
Yeah.
even that Modi, you have 1 I see there, and
Uh-huh.
that I see very consistently.
Yeah, and don't forget that I'm playing the wheels, right? I'm playing Wheel of Fortune. I'm playing the blue one. What's the blue
Yeah,
wheel called?
Time
Time
Twister.
Twister. Yeah, as well as Brain Geyser. So I'm constantly drawing. There's not a lot of situations where I've had to demonic tutor for a Darylord because like you said, I usually always have one. And if you kill it, chances are I might have the second one in my hand. So
Yeah, exactly. And good point in terms of mentioning that this is hardly a drawback because uh without the mind tools you only have 3 black cards in the whole deck, correct? Demonic
yeah,
and the 2 that, yeah, so 3 cards out of 61. Is that 61 with your Chaos Orb at the bottom, or a 60 card deck?
no, it's a 60 card deck. I
Okay.
just I just didn't know what to do with the Chaos Orb.
Okay, yeah, because like when I see 60 card decks and then they plop that Chaos Orb in the middle, I thought you were doing the same thing. Okay. But still, right, 3 cards out of 60, that's still a low probability, even with the draws, that you're gonna get, like two black cards in your hand at the same time, right? That's rare. So I really like that. Yeah, and the drawbacks that you were mentioning about that 4 drop, I've personally experienced in my deck because I'm also trying to find another 4 drop um for my deck as well. In fact, let's go into mine. So let me know if you can see my deck photo here, Jordan.
I can see it.
Okay, so that's why I was mentioning that I was surprised that I see only 2 Darlus, because I have the mindset that if you want to see a creature, you gotta put at least 3 or 4 in them. So mine's is a Bantam Geddon, which is just Ernum Geddon but with blue, and so you have your generic weenies, 4 Savannas, 4 Pixies, and then you have your beefier creatures, 3 Ernums, 3 Dips, 4 Juggernauts. So this is the one that I at least for this tournament, the one that I compromise on, exactly for the reason you mentioned, that Suchi. Because if you notice, I do not have Mishra's Factories in mind. So it's almost a guarantee that I'm gonna take 4 damage every time the Suchi dies. And if it just has to happen once or twice, and then I'm fighting for my life there, right? So but it will come into play where that fragility of the Juggernaut will be evident in the game that we're going to watch, right? The game that we played. So yeah, so in my future, so we are gearing up for the December. First of all, do you plan to still use the same deck but with tweaks, or are you trying to do, or you haven't decided yet, or will you do something totally different?
I think I'm going to tweak it.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right,
especially since we're not using Mind Twist. It's less of a reason to stick to black. So I'm going to be exploring other options.
all right, cool. But still the same deck, but you're tweaking it.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. Yeah. So same thing with me. I'm basically going to use this deck again, but I have switched to some Suchis and I have put in my four Mishra's factors in the next one, right? So that's basically the main, and then I put in a bit more lands because upon watching the videos, of the four videos of the games, that seemed to be a consistent theme of me just not having enough land drops. So I beefed up a few lands, but for the most part, it's very similar to this, right? And then you have the Urnums. I got the three Armageddons, right? So it's very easy to see what I'm trying to do here. All right.
What's that card right above the Soul Ring? I can't tell.
That's the Chaos Orb and then the Regrowth.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you see how I just put one in the group and then just like like little sections. Yeah, that's I used to try to take pride in my deck photos, kind of like yours, but then after a while I'm like, I don't have the energy for that anymore.
Gotcha.
I try to do a little bit on the sideboard as well, right? So yeah, for the sideboard I had the Concordant Cross was mainly against the Abyss. So Healing Salves, I think we might see them in our game, but I did play them in other matches. They were actually surprisingly effective. And then yeah, the balance I just couldn't fit it within the 60 card deck, but I did keep it on the sideboard. All right. All right, so yeah, this is pretty standard stuff here. All right, so let's go into the match, right? So yeah, and then you were 3-0 you mentioned, and I was as well.
Not only was I 3-0, I was 2-0 every single match. I was just doing fantastic that
Oh,
tournament.
really? Okay, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure actually, because I'm rewatching the videos. First one I was 2-0, second one I was 2-0, third one I think the third one I may have actually I think I went 2-0 as well. So I think it's possible we had identical records going 3-0 and 2-0 straight up. So we both must have been pretty confident. I know I was. I definitely thought I was gonna I had your number this time. All right. So we're drawing. So let's see if any of us put any cards back. I think I think we kept our hands both times. And you're gonna go first. Oh yeah, I remember. So once you start playing, walk me through this craziness that you do.
Okay. I actually don't remember this game that well.
Okay.
Because like you said, we've done so many games, we've played so many games, so many tournaments together.
Yeah, exactly. It's about to be a December one. All right. So, but I'm sure this will remind you.
Oh, a time walk. Okay. Right. Turn one time walk. Don't tell me I'm going to throw a turn one dib, right? That'd be crazy.
I wish you did that.
Okay, another volcanic. Am I gonna time twister here? Wheel of Fortune? What am I doing? Wheel of Fortune. Nice.
Look at my hand. If you can see my hand, look what I gave up. An Urnum, ancestral lands, pixies, swords. So I had a solid first hand, and then my number, right? You can mulligan, right? When you're drawing, right? So you can choose if you don't like that hand, but not when you already in the game. The 7 cards I drew were crappy.
And the 7 cards I drew were great. Look at that. I just threw down 2 more moxes.
Exactly. Keep in mind, this is all turn one, basically.
Yeah.
I haven't played yet. If you had gotten a Mox Ruby, you could have had another play, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so now finally I'm going. That's all I do, just a Savannah and a Savannah line. So, this is your turn two, basically.
Turn 2, yeah.
What do you?
Modi.
So yeah, you took a damage from the city. Okay, so my turn. So I think I tapped this. Yeah. So yeah, Chaos Orb, and then so I had the Mox, so I was able to activate it. And then I need to nail this, or else like it's basically game over. Which I'm happy I nailed.
Good flip.
Yeah. So I attack for 2. Okay, you took 1 before, so you have 17. Now it's gonna be your turn. You got 7 mana open by turn 3.
What do I have? Burn spells. Okay. So basically the strategy here is if you have something that deals 2 damage and I have a bolt in hand, I'm just gonna bolt it.
Yeah, and if you have a bolt and the chains, you'll use the chain over the bolt, right? Because the bolt is more versatile.
Right.
Dib. Okay, yeah. So my next turn, I drop a dib here. Let's see.
Do I counter this? Tapping 2 blues? Yeah.
Mana drain.
Mana drain.
All right, so then your turn, as if you need it anymore. So if you too bad you don't have the mind twist, right? You did have the mind twist, so but you could have maybe gotten a brain geyser that would have been game over by then. But I don't think that happened. So let's see what you do. Yeah, you see, you took the burn.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, like like you can basically cast. You got like 8 mana available. You can cast anything you want by this one, right? Because going by your deck pick, the most expensive thing was the
Modi.
Modi, yeah. And you already have 8 mana, so you can legit cast it again if you wanted to, and still have counter mana open. All right, so for me, here it is. So here's my Juggernaut. Let's see if you kill it. Oh, so during your turn, okay. But yeah, so that's why I'm changing that Juggernaut for future versions of this deck. It's just way too easy to kill. All right, so another dip from me and a Pixies. So I'm getting lucky that you're not drawing any threats, right? Because obviously you would have cast something if you had it, right? You have plenty of mana.
Right.
Ooh.
Okay. My own chaos orb. I'm probably gonna flip it on the dib, to be honest, because that's hard for me to kill.
Yeah, 4. Yeah, you can only kill it with once it's in
Psionic
play.
Blast.
Yeah, once it's in play, it's only a blast.
Oh, okay. So I waited until your upkeep.
Yeah.
Just to force you to take the 1 damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Which if you're playing burn, every single point of damage matters.
Yep. So yeah, in hindsight, yeah, I think you did the right call there. So yeah, I attack, but you cannot block with your orc because of its drawback.
And I keep forgetting that drawback, and I'm always disappointed when
You're always surprised. Oh yeah, oh man. Okay, so I had honestly I did a decent comeback, but unfortunately you had like answers to all of it. So that's also something that's very impressive. Like, so of course you can counterspell, and you can deal direct damage, but that it's all how you use it, right? It can be direct damage or it could just be removal, right? So it's very versatile, the cards in your deck. As opposed to mine, a swords is only a swords. That's all it's all gonna be.
Yeah.
But a burn can be many things.
Yeah, I mean it depends on the board state, right? If I need to control with my burn like I'm doing now, that's what I do.
I think that's your third chain.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And then you got rid of it, and then you're attacking now. So yeah. So you only have 3 orcs, right, in your deck?
I believe it's just 3.
Yeah. I think from the deck picture, I think I only see 3 there.
Yeah, 4 was just too many.
Yeah, with the drawback, yeah. If it didn't have the drawback, maybe like 4, yeah. All right, so I got an Urnum, so finally, and you don't have a counter spell, so because it's in play now. So here you're attacking, and I'm afraid since I was a little ahead in life, I was afraid I was gonna block and you would just lightning bolt it, but you do something even more devious.
Oh, okay. Let's see. What do I do? Oh, tapping a lot. Okay, is this like a fireball?
That's what I thought.
What am I doing? I keep counting my mana over and over again. 4, 6. Earthquake. Nice.
For 5. So that's
Okay,
after you attacked. So then I took the 5 plus the 2, so 7. But
right.
of course, it got you really low also. But I don't. Well, you didn't know I don't play Cyanic Blast, but I don't. So I have no direct damage at all. And then, unfortunately, here my turn. So after you wipe the board, I just play a Soul Ring. So by this point, I have like 2, 4, 8 mana as well, right? So so we both basically can cast whatever we want. It's just a matter of who gets it first. There it is.
There, Lore.
There it is. You got it at the perfect time. I'm at 8 life here. You're at 5. Oh, okay, yeah. I know this. I'm gonna Brain Geyser and I'm gonna keep a. I didn't have a Swords in hand. That's why I'm going to Brain Geyser. But I was praying that it went through and then I got a Swords and then I could deal with your Terror. So that was my thinking. But
I counter your brain geyser.
yep. So and the counter spells also like you have only 4 total, 3 counter spells and 1 mana drain, so that's 4 total. Honestly, I thought just because you always counter like such important and look what you follow it up with.
Psionic Blast.
I'm already at 4 because I was at 8 already. You attacked, and then I didn't put my healing salves in yet. So first game, yeah, by this point, yeah, you got the game. I'm trying to like devise a way in my head to see if like there's anything I can do. Nope, that's it for game 1. All right, so we are looking into game 2, 18 minutes 30 seconds into my video. Okay, so this is game 2 now. Okay, so unfortunately the camera tilted without us knowing, so but all the visible parts are still there. Here I'm seeing myself mulligan, so I'm putting 1 card back. So of course that's going to make a difference. I'm going first as well, right? Since I lost the first game. So let's see what my first turn move is. So Tropical Island. And definitely when you mulligan, right, you feel that pressure of, you got to take what you can get. So I just drop a land and that's all I do. So your first turn.
Wow. Turn 1 Soul Ring. Okay, this has to be a turn 1 dib.
Yeah.
Yep.
So for both games, you have really solid turn ones. Nothing beats that first game one, but this was also pretty solid as well. All right, so then my turn. Let's see if I do anything that can compare to that. Hopefully I get a swords.
Well, you would need a swords and a white source.
Yeah, exactly. Both together. Unless I get a dip as well, right? And then at least I can block.
Yeah.
Unless you get a blast. Huh?
Swords?
Yep, there we go.
Swords. Okay.
Thank God for the dual lands. All right, so yeah, I swords it. So yeah, I'm telling you, for your life, you put 4 initially. I think you were thinking it gain life based on its power, toughness.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now this is your turn 2 now.
Do I have another dib? No, but at least I have an orc.
Yeah, exactly. That's threat. All right, but yeah, that's all you do on your second turn, and you drop no lands. So
Yeah. So if you can destroy art. Oh, what'd you do there? You strip mined.
yeah,
Okay.
and I disenchanted your soul
Nice.
ring.
Okay,
So
so you have me in a pretty bad spot here.
yeah, and then you attack and you don't do a follow up land or mock. So yeah, I'm pretty solid. But this is where I mentioned. So this is my turn 3, I believe. No, last turn was my turn 3. So yeah. So I didn't make a drop for turn 3 to this turn 4. Finally doing a third land drop. Oh no, my mistake. I did make a land drop. I dropped the strip mine.
Right.
Okay, and now
Uh,
you're getting.
I got my own strip mine.
So here, like you're thinking whether you keep it or you strip my.
So also, this is perfect mana for Demonic Tutor. I'm wondering if I have that in hand.
True. Oh,
Okay, I guess I don't.
yeah, exactly. Or else you wouldn't have done that. And then I'm seeing if I have a swords, but nope. I just let it
So
die.
I'm cutting you off of white here in case you draw a swords, or I don't know if you're playing Sarah Angel or something, right? But what
Yeah, exactly.
white's like the most powerful color in Magic, so that's why I targeted it.
Yeah. So here I may have had 4 mana if you hadn't killed my land, and then I could have dropped that Urnum, right? So, ooh,
Time Walk, is
yeah,
that? Yeah,
yep, yep.
nice. Hopefully here I get a red source.
Ooh, nothing. So you pass it on to me. So my turn. Dib. Oh no, I just geyser for 1 because I'm like not getting anything and just trying to cycle through my deck. But yeah, that's all I do. Oh, there you go.
Another orc.
So other than the time walk, well, which was kind of like a roundabout draw, this is the only you haven't had any draw yet, right? In this second game.
No, I haven't drawn crazy cards or anything.
Yeah.
It's just been normal drawing.
Okay. So yeah, but yeah, you already have 2 orcs, so that's pretty decent. Um. Okay, so I have a max. So I have 4 mana. So honestly, 4 mana is my magic number. With 5, I can cast Zeros, yeah, but I only have 2 Zeros in my whole deck. So 4 is where I can cast Armageddons, where I can cast Juggernauts, where I can cast Urnums. So plus now I do have the Soul Ring, so I have more than that. But I don't have that second white. So if I did have a Zero, I couldn't cast it anyway because I don't have the double white. Pixies? What do I do here? Ooh.
Balance. Okay. That's interesting because you have more land, so you gotta okay, but you're getting rid of my orc, so
I think I mainly did it for draw for discard. I only had, I believe, 2 cards in my hand. Yeah, there it is. So I sacrificed 1 land, but I killed your creature and you discarded like a good 3-4 cards. So I think
yeah.
that's good. That's a good trade-off. But then look what you freaking have next.
Top deck ancestral. Nice.
If I had waited 1 turn, like
Yeah.
because yeah, after you draw, then it doesn't matter. Like I still have only I may even have been down to 1 card by then. Um, and I don't care if I have to kill another land for that, it's still worth it. Oof, look what you got here.
Lotus. Do I have
Oh,
enough for a Modi? Is that what I cast here? Or a Daralor? Nice.
there, yeah, you see, like both games you're like getting them. So out of that ancestor, you got a factory, you got a Black Lotus, and you got a Derelor.
Yeah.
Freaking ridiculous. All right, 4 mana for me, Juggernaut, but then it's most likely dying. Let's see.
If I have a bolt, then yeah, it's dying.
Ooh, blast. Yep.
Okay. And I'm still at 23. I haven't taken any
Oh,
Oh,
look.
nice. Healing Self.
Nice. So that was my only card left, and I healing soft. Ideally, I would have wanted you to attack, and then a healing soft. Then I would have destroyed your creature, and I still had mine. But like since you went for direct damage, I had to save it that way, right? But ideally, that's what I want to do with the healing soft. Not just save my creature, but it's better to save it during combat, right? Because then I get a 2-for-1, basically.
And I think here I'm probably asking you whether I have summoning sickness on this or confirming with you. And I guess I don't animate it because it is still summoning sick.
Yeah, I think you were exactly. Because last turn, you dropped it and you had the mox and all that. Yeah. You didn't use it because you wanted the colored mana, but it's still my turn, so it hasn't gone back to your turn yet, so it was still summon sick. Yeah, I believe that's what we were talking about. Because I think that's a decent trade. Um a factory for Juggernaut. And then that clears the way for your Derelor. Yeah,
Yeah, since you're forced to attack with the Juggernaut.
exactly. And then here 6. I don't think I have anything, so I think I take the 6. Yep. 5, 12. And you're at 16. And you follow it up with a dip.
Yeah, at this point, I'm not worried about holding back blockers or anything.
Yeah, I think you know that I'm not doing direct damage by this point, right? Or like you're pretty confident. Or even if I did, like you have such a massive board state that I have to actually use my. If I had direct damage, if I had a blast, I have to destroy the Derelor instead of going for your damage, for the head.
Yeah. I mean, I'm presenting 9 damage each turn, so
Yeah. So I blocked the Derelor and I'm still taking 5 from the other two. Even though I'm still attacking the Juggernaut, right? So I got 2 attacks in by this point, but yeah, and looks like I'm getting a third one, but you're still outpacing me. Ooh, there it is. Both games, you at least in this second game, like it got some damage in definitely, but still, like it's plus that attacking. I would have preferred. Honestly, I would have held it back for defense. I would have gladly traded my Juggernaut for your Derelor, but yep, there you go. You got. So now we can say you did go 2-0 for the whole tournament, right?
yeah.
Nice. All right. So why don't we do a quick recap? I'll show your deck pick again. Just like after the tournament, now that it's finished, and through the video as well. If you can just kind of like give a little commentary on, how of course you won 4-0 and you won 2-0 in every match, right? So you were that's the definition of undefeated. But like if you can talk through um anything that either overperformed, underperformed, and you're mentioning you're thinking about doing some tweaks for the next version, right? So if you can also talk about
Yeah, sure. So one card that just disappoints me is the Fireball.
that.
Um, it's just I feel like Earthquake is way better. Which if you look at my sideboard, I have 2 Earthquakes in the sideboard. Going forward with every iteration of this deck, I'm gonna play at least 1 Earthquake main.
I think honestly, if I can cut you here, I think that's another thing. So we know that twist is actually a balance. I think because if you remember correctly, you earthquake the first game before sideboards. So
Yeah.
maybe
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, because
so
this is a slightly older.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
basically the version before the one that you played, right? So I think that thing that you're mentioning, do you remember having a fireball in this game, in this match? I mean, not in this tournament.
Honestly, I pretty quickly figured out that Fireball is not good in the Time Warp meta, so I took it out fairly early.
Okay, so
Probably right after the last tournament, which is where this deck pick is from.
okay, so by this point that fireball is not an earthquake, and then that's the one that you had for
Yeah.
game one. Okay. All right. So anything else in terms of overperform, underperform?
Let's see. I mentioned I was a little disappointed in the orc's inability to block, but that doesn't change the fact that orc is still a good creature. I'm still keeping them in.
Okay.
Psionic Blast. I feel like 4 might be too many.
Mm,
Um, there might be something better to slot in, but I'm not 100% sure what. Um, I find myself, at least I find myself sometimes not knowing what to cut when I'm sideboarding, and my mind always goes to Time Twister because Time Twister is like a double-edged sword, right? Because you could draw worse cards than your opponent. You know, you're not just filling up your hand, you're also filling up your opponent's hand. Uh, honestly, for me, I would say it's only advantageous really, really late game. Um, and 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 if I'm playing like a control player, like someone who's playing the deck, I'm at a disadvantage playing uh, Time Twister. So I usually cut that out. I've been considering just cutting out of the deck entirely, but I think it's still good enough to keep in there. Let's see what else. More moxes. You know, here I'm showing three. No, here I'm showing four moxes. I think the right move is to just play the five. You know, even though I'm not in green, I think I should just be playing the green mox anyway.
Mm. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that's what I. Let me see if I can go to mine. Um, yeah. So in my version, I only had the three, for the colors I play, right? So blue, green, white. But yeah, that's actually a change
it
I
froze up
recently.
here. Can you still
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. Do you see my deck pick? Hello.
Hey,
Yeah. So yeah. Can you see my deck? I'm screen sharing my deck pick. Can you see that?
yeah. I think there was a connection issue right there.
Okay. All right. Let me double check on something. Okay, still recording. So yeah, we're still good.
All right.
All right, so yeah, regarding that, yeah, for my next version of this, I've also, yeah, I put in all five moxes. I took out the birds and I just put in just straight up more lands because uh yeah, like I was constantly like not having a land drop on like turn 3 or 4, and then that just prevented me from having that magic 4 mana to to be able to cast my Urnums. And yeah, that Juggernaut is just way too fragile. At least for Time War, right? Like there's a lot of burn, a lot of weenies. So and then it's easy to be, it's fragile, right? Like 1 or 2 weenies can also kill it. So yeah, I've since switched to 2 switches. I have 4, but I think I'm gonna do only 2. But I also have 4 Mishra's Factories. Like I said, now I have all 5 Moxes. And 2 more lands, just to make sure I don't have uh any missing land drops, at least within the first couple of turns. But other than that, that's what I'm doing. The Juggernaut. I would say that's the one that was the for me the performed the least. And like if it went through, it went through, right? Which is great, right? That's 5 damage. But usually if it went through, it's not because it's any good, right? It's because I had a sword, and that's the only reason why I was able to go through, right? So like in it and of itself, it's very fragile, and I have to like support it through other means, as opposed to like earn them. I could just put him in, and they all on its own, right? It's gonna preserve itself basically, right? So I don't have to do much to keep it staying alive. But yeah, the Juggernaut, I'm always have to like devise ways to like keep it alive. So that's for my end. I'm going to be swapping those out entirely. I'm putting in just only 2 switches though, because of the drawback that you're mentioning. I really, really wanted to put in the Duralors, but so yeah, I wanted to splash black just for the Duralors, because honestly, your deck was made such effective use of them that I was really jealous of that, honestly. And then I thought that was like, because I also want to beef up my 4 casting cost slot. And it's for that, honestly, like in old school, it's either Darylor or Juggernaut or Suchi, right? Like honestly. But like I just didn't want to add another color. And actually, on that thought, could you mention, or I don't know if you want to keep it a surprise, but
No, I'll mention it. So going back to the fact that we're playing a gentleman's format, you know, no Mind Twist, no Library of Alexandria. There's less of a reason for me to stay in black. And I've been thinking, well, okay, what am I playing in black? You know, I have a demonic tutor and I have 2 Darylors. You can say that there is kind of a green version of demonic tutor in what's it called?
regrowth.
Regrowth. And then, you can argue that Urnham, yeah, you can argue that Urnham Jin is slightly better than Darylor if you're in green,
Yeah,
just because Urnham Jin is a 4/5,
yeah,
and he doesn't have that drawback where it becomes more difficult to play a second copy if you already have the first copy, like Darylor does.
yeah.
So I've been thinking of experimenting with that.
Okay.
And whoever comes to the next tournament, it's entirely possible that that you will see two Ernies in my deck instead of the two Darylors.
Nice. And the funny thing is that it's literally you're basically keeping the deck as is. You just these three cards here will be instead of
Ex
three black cards, it'll be three green cards.
exactly. So it'll be like a 1 or 2% tweak, right? But
Yeah, exactly.
overall, the deck will stay the same.
Exactly. Although you probably will be a bit more of a tweak in terms of the mana base, right? To accommodate that. Will you
For
still have,
sure.
do you think you still have the balance though? Because then that'll be turned into like four colors.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it was already four colors anyway, right? Because yeah,
right.
red, blue, one white, and then the black. So actually, yeah, it's still the same amount of colors. It's just you're swapping the black for the green, but you're swapping an even amount of black for an even amount of green. So it's a straight swap. Honestly, yeah, I really like that idea. Because yeah, like honestly, the most strongest black card is Mind Twist,
Yeah.
and then you get other cards to make that splash more worth it, right? Since you're already splashing black for Mind Twist, might as well put some other ones, to to make it more worth that you're accommodating black in your deck. But without the Mind Twist, the other three cards are the one your games definitely, you won the tournament, definitely that Derelor. But if that Derelor was an Urnham, would you have won even more solidly? I might think yes.
Well, so Urnham, or rather, Darylor can't block an Ernie, right? And
Yep.
there's a lot of Ernies at the
Yep.
time war meta.
Yeah, and Ernie can block another Ernie. So at
Yeah.
the least, yeah, of course, as long as you can force walk it to something else, which most of the time you can, right? Because Ernems are usually supported by a lot of weenies and ramp, right? So there's usually another target that you can target instead of the Ernem. Um, if you're targeting his Ernem, then most likely he's targeting your Ernem. So you're just back and forthing force walk Ernems anyway, right? So but without that, yeah, like that 4/5, that extra takes it out of psionic blast range. Really, the only thing you can do is swords or 2-for-1 with creature and damage, right? But even then, that's still a win, right? Because you costed your opponent 2 cards just to get rid of your one. So yeah, honestly, I really like that switch that you're contemplating. Yeah, I think yeah, you definitely will have to play around with the mana base, right? But hopefully it's not such a huge issue. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and so maybe we'll see each other again in the next one, and then maybe we can do this again. So thank you, Jordan, for making the time to discuss the gameplay and also your deck, which is very impressive record, and also just an impressive deck in general, right? So thank you for making time.
Thank you, Jesus.
All right, so we're gonna leave it up to here. Thank you guys for watching.